Tatanka.
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 Here.
Tatanka.
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 Tatanka. Buffalo.
Oh,
Buffalo.
Tatanka.
Buffalo.
Buff.
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 Buffalo. Tatanka.
And welcome back to Spitball Cinema. I'm Shane.
Hey,
I'm Scott.
I'm David.
There we go. And today we're going to be talking a little bit of Dances
Dances
with
with
Wolves.
Wolves.
Yeah, Dances with Wolves.
1990, Kevin Costner's epic Western movie.
Tatanka.
Tatanka. Tatanka. So, first memories when this movie came out. What did happen?
Ooh, I fell asleep.
During the movie?
Fell asleep during the movie.
How in the hell?
Went to see the movie, and it's a great movie, and it is, I mean, just amazing. The cinematography, the writing is really good, but it's got a slower pace. And I was working nights, and I hadn't had a lot of sleep, and I went, and I was out. I had to go back and see it like a week later.
You went by yourself to see it?
Yeah, went by my. Well, actually, no, I didn't. I didn't go by myself. But whoever was with me did not give me a nudge.
Yeah.
But I just remember going and just I fell asleep.
Wow.
Just lack of sleep. And then I woke up and I was like, "What do you mean it's over? What do you know?" It wasn't really over, but it was just like, "What do you mean I missed like an hour?" You know, and I was just beside myself. So it's like I actually kind of got up and left because I didn't want to know how it ended, and so I had to go. So basically, I just ruined the whole thing for myself. I was like, ah! So I like got up and ran, and then
Wow.
went back and saw it about a week later when I was a little more alive. So,
Wow.
yeah, just went with a bunch of people were going. I was like, I want to see this movie, and I died right there in the theater. So
Yeah.
Dang.
That happened to me with The Usual Suspects because I
Oh,
was
really?
working nights at the casino but my friends, worked during the day. So on a day off, we all went to go see Seven or Usual Suspects. And yeah, of course, I woke up when everybody's like, "No way!" at the end. But that's for another show.
there you go.
My friends started working at movie theaters, and I think it was the first free movie I got to see, um,
Nice.
as a beneficiary of that. And I loved it. I cried my eyes out at the end, but yeah, it was a journey that I just knew watching it. This is what they mean by epic, by an epic movie.
Mm-hmm.
The acting awesome, the sound awesome, the music awesome, just everything. Story was awesome, and um, yeah, and I just remember telling everybody, "You got to go see it. You got to go see it." Of course, they saw it's like what 3 hour movie, which a lot of people didn't like doing back in the day. Now they don't like doing it unless it's the Avengers, um. But yeah, I was like, please don't let that bother you. Go see this movie. And people did. And yeah, I don't think I've heard one person ever say that they hated it when they watched it. But
Right. Right.
it's just one of those the special movies that come out and everybody just loved it. I mean,
Yeah, I was in Grafenwehr, Germany,
oh wow.
and we were out in the field. We would go out and do missions, what we had to do during the day and stuff, and then we'd come back and we stayed in billets, you know, and they had a movie theater in a place you could go drink beer and all that kind of stuff.
Oh wow.
And so Dances with the Wolves was playing, and so we all went and saw it, and we were just, I mean, it just took us, I mean, because over there movies were about 6 months behind.
Oh
We
wow.
didn't even really know what it Dances with Wolves, what it was about. I mean, just from the posters and stuff, this pre-internet and all that stuff. You didn't
Oh,
have all
right.
this stuff, and
But did you guys like see the poster for it and like, oh, we definitely got to go
well,
see
yeah,
that?
it was the only thing that was playing that night. It played at 7 o'clock at night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we'd go to the little, place to drink beer and have some food, and then we'd go to the movie.
Oh, cool.
And we went and saw it, and all of us were just so taken by it. We went we must have seen that thing 7 days in a row.
Yeah.
We went every
Wow.
night. We'd go do these missions. Every night we'd come back in.
Oh yeah.
We'd go watch Dances with Wolves. And I remember we, because we had had some beer and stuff, and then we came we came back into the billets, and the sergeants and all them were all sleeping and stuff, and we're being all loud and stuff, and we're yelling. Dances with the Wolves, you'll always be my friend.
Oh
Tatani
God.
Tatanka Owashi.
Yeah.
And we're yelling that stuff. And one of my friends,
Uh,
we were calling him Dick in Hand and all that stuff. And just different nicknames. And I remember one of the platoon sergeant, not the platoon sergeant, but one of the squad leaders gets up and he said, "This is Growling Bear. You better get your asses to bed now." And we were all laughing and shit. I mean, but we went and saw that thing, and I was just,
So you knew back then that this movie was gonna.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this was just, and I grew up watching a lot of westerns. Like How the West Was Won, all these epic westerns. These John Wayne movies and stuff. With my dad and stuff, and like Cimarron and The Big Country,
Yeah.
and so when I saw this movie, I was like, wow, this is what I wanted. I would love to do, to be a filmmaker, to do this type of
Oh yeah.
this movie,
Now,
this type of thing.
just the opposite of that. I don't like westerns for the most part.
Mm,
Wow.
I just don't. It's a time period that never appealed to me.
really?
It just wasn't. Um, but when it came to like John Wayne films, I liked The Quiet Man. I liked a lot of his like Flying Tigers
Hmm.
and some of the World War II stuff. The Iwo Jima and just all the different movies and stuff. But when it came to Western, not a huge fan. This was the first Western that I really fell in love with because I went to see Kevin Costner. He was the headlining person, loved everything that he'd done up to that point, and I'm just like, well, it's Kevin Costner, it's got to be good. And then when I did go, I fell asleep, even though I was like, just really loved the start of it, the gritty realness of it, and that brought me in more than any other western that I'd seen before, which is one of the reasons I love Unforgiven so much because it's got that same kind of gritty feel to it from the
Oh yeah.
beginning. But yeah, so then when I went back and I saw it again the second time and I watched it all the way through, absolutely loved it, and it was from there that I would go back and kind of dip my toes in and maybe watch some of the older westerns and stuff that I had not bothered to see before. But that was the first movie that actually get my attention and hold my attention as a western. But yeah,
More
well,
so than Shane, because
more
you
yeah, I got named after the movie Shane, but I'd watch it and it was just like yeah, okay, it didn't mean that much to me, but I didn't appreciate it until I was older.
mm,
So now I can
Because
go back and I can watch a lot of those films, and I really appreciate them for what they are, and the stories that they were telling in the time period and everything else. But I just wasn't a fan. I'd watch um, the Lone Ranger, and I'd watch Zorro. The old serialized ones.
oh yeah.
The old
mm,
black and whites and stuff. Loved those. Those were great. But they were also a half an hour long, and I was a little kid. So when it came to some of the movies and stuff, it didn't hold my interest. But yeah, Dances with Wolves, absolutely loved it. It was just one of those movies that it just made it feel more real and a little more grounded and less. Here's another black and white western where people shoot guns and fall off roofs, yeah, or get thrown through a window. To me, it's like that. It all just went together in my mind when I thought about westerns at the time, and this was the first one that really struck me as cinema.
Well, it
So,
helped you out because you appreciated Tombstone when it came
oh
out.
yeah,
You appreciated The Quick and the Dead when it came out,
yeah.
and Silverado. I don't know if you watched that after.
Oh yeah, Silverado. There's even what is it, 311 to Yuma?
three
Oh,
Uh,
no
310
310
310.
to Yuma. Yeah,
Yeah.
310 to Yuma. Great
We'll have
movie.
to do that another
None of those
show.
films I probably would have just steered clear
Which
from
that was a
at the time.
remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not at the time to me. I didn't know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it was
I didn't know it was a remake either.
yeah.
yeah.
Glenn Ford and Van
Yeah, I
Heflin.
went back and
Van
watched it
Heflin, who
again.
was in Shane.
Ah, there you go, true.
There you
This is
go.
like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
There you go.
See, I think you're missing out on a lot of epic westerns. You need to go back and watch.
Well, I gotta pace myself, you
You
know.
know, because I mean,
Well, I
this,
still think you've missed out on a lot of fine Godzilla films.
yeah. Well,
And
let's not
horror
get crazy.
movies.
Yeah,
You know.
and don't tell my wife that I recently picked up a 15 disc set of the Showa era Godzilla, so we'll do a little Godzilla
Well,
marathon.
she never listens to this anyway, so she'll never
That's true. I'm
know.
saying.
I'll come watch it.
Oh, yeah, oh, there's something for a while. So, but anyway,
But
yeah,
yeah,
it's yeah, Dances with Wolves, wonderful. And Scott, why don't you expound a little bit on why we're picking Dances with Wolves
Okay.
today?
well, one of the reasons we're doing Deaths of the Wolves because recently the actor Graham Greene has just passed away,
Yeah.
and you know he played Kickingbird in
Yeah.
Dances with Wolves, and he was a big part of this movie, and
And he made you a fan. I mean,
yeah,
if I knew he was in a movie, I was like, oh, this is,
yeah,
yeah.
you know, he had like a screen presence about him. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, even when he played in movies where he was the bad guy
Yeah.
and he'd come on
Oh
the
yeah,
screen,
Yeah.
you were drawn to him.
Big
For
time.
some reason, he just had this quality about him
yeah.
that
He had a lot of charisma
yes, he did.
for just being what I would probably call an average looking non-lead
Yeah,
Hollywood
Yeah.
actor.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
um,
And he's actually from Canada. He was a Canadian.
Yeah,
yeah,
he
Yeah.
was.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep, he sure was.
Wow.
But he just there was some quality about him that just drew you to this guy,
Yeah.
you know. And uh, yeah, he was born on the Six Nations Reserve in Ontario, Canada.
wow, okay,
So I mean, and he you know, and he did such a wide variety of of different roles. A lot of times he's playing Native American roles and stuff.
well, sure,
But he you know, he showed up. He was in Longmire, and he showed up in
Yeah.
Maverick with Mel Gibson, which he was
Oh my
hysterical
God,
with
he
it.
was awesome
I mean,
in
just
that.
kind of making fun of the persona,
yeah,
you know. And but it was just, but the Dances with Wolves was just, you know. And I was telling Dave before you got here, Shane. We were talking a little bit about this. That the thing about this movie is, when you start watching it, at least from my point of view, you start watching it and you're kind of going through this journey with Kevin Costner where it's kind of like the white man's point of view of things at the beginning. You know what I mean? At the beginning, and the way
right,
you're uh, interacting with the Indians, kind of, you know, on the plains, and then it just like takes you in, and by the end of the film, you're a Sioux. I mean, you've become a
Yeah.
part of the tribe. You know what I mean?
oh yeah,
You know, and you are just you love these people so much.
Oh yeah.
You know, the whole lot of them from a kicking bird to smiles a lot to
yeah,
stands with the fist, and you just and then when Kevin Costner's like recaptured towards the end, and they're, you know, you're just like no, no, and you because you know what's going to happen, you know,
yeah,
eventually. But I mean, you're just like wow. I mean, he just takes you. You just go on this journey, and it's like that one white Catholic. He told him, he said, "Turned engine, didn't you?"
Yeah.
You know, you know that
Yeah.
mean guy, you know, and you know, as Kevin Costner in the one scene, he's trying to explain to him what's going on out there, and then finally he starts talking in Sioux, and he says, "I'm not talking to you anymore. You're not worth explanation," and blah blah, you know, and you're just like, wow, you know,
Yeah.
you've come to love
Well, I mean that
these
goes
characters so much,
I mean
you
that
know.
goes back to how great the writing is because like you
Hmm.
said it takes us a journey to learn it had like the perfect narration of what these people have been through and all that kind of stuff and why they did certain things and thought certain ways and stuff.
Well, and it's like Kevin Costner's John Dunbar says anything in there. Everything that I've been told about these people is completely wrong.
Yeah.
They're not the savages that they've been portrayed to be. you know, he said that they're not that way at all. They're very family orientated.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
Religious,
some
too.
of them are very savage.
well, yeah, and
Not with that tribe.
no, that's right. But he also does
But
a
it
good.
also doesn't shy away from actual
It does.
Oh, yeah.
interaction between Indian tribes, which
It
is
shows
amazing.
it shows it. It's a good point because they show the Shoshone who
Yeah.
were freaking brutal, and it shows that in here how brutal they were. You know, but it shows that it's just like people,
Yeah.
different people. Different people are different in different ways.
Yeah. Well, it also shows, it's like here comes Kevin Costner, and he was about there just by himself, running out of
Right.
food,
Yeah.
living in filth. It's just like a horrible location where he's got
And he
this
has
little
no
outpost.
human interaction.
No, well, no, really, he's got no human interaction, but he's like fighting against the land itself. It's like
Hmm.
he's trying to force it to to basically to accommodate him, and that's just not how it works.
Yeah.
And it really takes someone else to bring him out and just basically say, this is not how you live out here.
Right.
You can't force your your culture and your way of living in this situation.
Uh-huh.
And they do. They're at least nice enough to save his life and give him a different direction, and just kind of like, all right, come along.
Yeah, yeah.
But then he learns and he adapts and he learns to really appreciate their approach to life, which
Right.
is huge, and it's an amazingly good character arc.
Right.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Well, he's not really. He shouldn't even be there because he was trying to kill himself at
Yeah.
the beginning in the Civil War
Yeah.
Right.
when he had wounded himself, and he was just basically that first scene where he's trying to, he's dying because he thinks they're going to chop his leg off, so he goes out and just puts it all out there. He's going to attack, and he ends up.
Yeah, both sides were like, what the heck? And
Yeah.
then it worked to their
And then
advantage.
he has this general who gets his surgeon and helps him, and they for his bravery they give him a choice, and he chooses to go to the west. So it's kind of like his fate. This was meant to be for him, and
Yeah.
he was originally supposed to be dead, really.
Right.
Yeah, big time. God, that part was
Oh, it was very.
at the beginning, yeah, when they
Yeah.
showed him in that
Oh, it's
tent.
rough.
Oh yeah, when remember those guys, those surgeons are like, look, I got a coffee yet because this guy can wait, because I'm going to fall asleep from all this. You're just like, oh my God, brutal, just brutal, and
You didn't see that in Geronimo. I mean,
no, I mean, everything. I mean, nobody really knows what it's really like because we weren't there, during all this type of
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
because the movies have romanticized the Western so much. I always say that
Oh, yeah.
that I really don't want to go back to the old West time, but I want to go back to the movie Old West time. That
Exactly.
the John Wayne type mo- movie, thing, not the actual that because that stuff
The,
was
the
too
idyllic
the
Western.
idyllic Western,
Yes.
yeah. Because that other shit is brutal, man.
Oh, yeah,
There's
it's-
no air condition, and none of that bullshit, no running water and crap, you know, But
Something goes wrong,
because
you're not calling 911.
when you think about it, the pioneers and the the Indians and all that. I mean, you had to be a tough sucker to even survive.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just not only other people, but the elements. You live it out going to the Rockies. There's no roads, and you're in a covered wagon. And you're trying to go across the Rocky Mountains in December.
Oh, just rivers.
Yeah, rivers.
Yeah. It's just nuts.
Just to find water. The next watering hole, so your horses don't die. Your horses die, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
Anyway,
didn't mean to go back on.
it's like playing, what was that old video game? Like Frontier or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you die of
Wagons is-
dysentery.
Yeah, the Oregon Trail.
Oregon
Trail.
Trail.
Yeah, I've got that. I've got that.
You still
Yeah,
have that?
I got a copy of that. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
a classic. There's like, ooh, what horrible way did I die today?
I remember they brought that in school the first time
Yeah.
they had us in school, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. and then I died of dysentery. Thanks, buddy. but
Foreshadowing.
but anyway, yeah, this the the scenes in this movie were just, I mean, it's that epic cinematic.
It's like
Yeah,
that scene
yeah.
where after they went on that big buffalo hunt,
Oh yeah.
and then the Indians are going back, and they had that scene of him like waving towards them in that
Mm-hmm.
purple, dark sky
Oh
behind.
Yeah.
yeah, gorgeous.
Gosh,
Well, just
Who did the cinematography for that? You guys remember offhand?
I don't remember offhand.
I think it was like Jan de Bont or something like that. Jan de Bont,
I'm not really sure.
deep cut there.
It's Dean Similar.
Being similar.
Oh,
Similar is the cinematographer. Oops, sorry. Composer was John Barry. Because that's another thing. The music in this was very epic,
Yeah.
epic
Oh,
type Western theme music.
It's kind of like the go-to, like when they're doing like a montage of some pick of movies or people passed away or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. Right.
Actually, in a weird way, that is very.
Yeah.
very fun. Yeah.
And then you got to talk about the actress that played, or Mary McDonald, the actress that plays Ten with the Fist.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, and her being the interpreter because she was actually a captive white that was living with the Sioux, and then she becomes the interpreter between Kicking Bird and John Dunbar, Kevin Costner. You know, trying to translate back and forth so they can communicate
Yeah.
effectively. You know,
Yeah.
and she ends up teaching him the Sioux language, and they, of course, they end up falling in love and stuff like that. Uh, but that was a real the way she was trying. I thought that she did a good job with uh, going back to like she was trying to remember the English and she would like stutter and stammer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then when she then Kickingbird would get frustrated with her and she would yell at him in Sioux, you know, she'd turn around and
She
yell,
was awesome in that movie.
you know.
Did
And
she win Best Actress or?
no, I don't think so.
I
No.
think she got nominated though, didn't she?
Yeah, I don't think any of the actors won for this far as
Mm.
Oscars and stuff. But Kevin Costner won Best Director, Best Movie.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, uh, but you know, and then the supporting cast. I mean, just the people in this movie that played the Indians and stuff were just solid cast. I mean,
Yeah.
you just really and see that's the thing about movies. You've got to care about the characters that you're
Oh
watching.
yeah.
You know, because there's so many like TV shows and stuff now where they're you go watch the main characters and they're just even though they're the main
They're
characters,
just scenery. They're
you,
just
you
scenery.
don't love these characters at all. They're like nasty people.
Well, there's that's one of the weird things with modern film
Yeah,
is that your main characters they don't go through any sort of a story arc.
right.
They're the same at the beginning as they are at
Yeah,
the end.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
even though they may go through an adventure or they have to do something, they're the same.
yeah,
From the beginning to the end, they really didn't change at all.
right,
And so when you have that lack of connection because nobody is the same at the beginning of something as they are at the end of something,
right,
just in general, so you just don't feel that attachment. You know, there's always a way to look at someone and say, "Hey, I see a little bit of myself in that character." But if someone
right,
doesn't change and they don't adapt and they don't react to things like a regular person would,
right.
it's just bad writing. And in
Yeah,
this movie, you have all the different characters. You know, not just Kevin Costner's character and how he changes and adapts and becomes part of the tribe. It's he has that ripple effect on the people around him,
exactly.
and and
The
so they
Sioux
change
the Sioux
their
changed too.
outlook as
Yeah,
well. And so
yeah,
it's
because they had a certain view of the white man,
oh
you know,
yeah,
until he came along.
yeah.
You know,
And so where he found this exceptional group of people,
Mhm.
they found an exception to the people that they've been exposed to.
Right,
And so it just shows where you know a lot of times there's common ground than you would think.
right,
You know, but that's the thing though, in that it's that ripple effect. You know, just his presence of being there and the effect that it had on the tribe, and then him becoming part of the tribe and getting that opportunity to learn and what everyone around him learned from him. But it's just great storytelling, you know, and
Yeah.
it's just a credit to the writer that he's able to, you know, not only follow the individual story, but tie so many other characters and give them that depth that just makes it makes it a film,
Yeah.
instead of a movie.
I guess the guy who wrote the novel did the screenplay for it, uh, and won an Oscar.
Michael Blake,
Michael Blake, yeah.
who was a friend of Kevin Costner. We just watched a video about how that started.
Go ahead and tell him.
Well, Michael Blake had been a friend of Kevin Costner's, and Kevin Costner was trying to help him make it in Hollywood, and he sent him on a bunch of jobs and stuff. But he was kind of a prick and an asshole. And he was pissing off all the Hollywood people that so he told Kevin Costner he hated all these people, and he said, "Well, hey man, maybe you're just not good enough. You're not writing things that are good enough, and you're being a jerk. You're talking about these friends of mine." And he said, he thought their friendship kind of ended, but then a week later he asked, "Hey, I don't have a place to stay," and he said, "Yeah, you can live with me." He ended up writing in his house and living with him for 2 months. And his wife said, "Hey, man, he's got to go." Yeah. So finally, Kevin Costner said, "Hey, man, you got to go." And he says, "Well, have you read any of these stuff I've written?" And he goes, "No, I'm not reading any of that stuff. You've got to go." So this guy leaves. He goes to Arizona. He's working in a Chinese restaurant. And he calls him. And he said, "Look, I don't have hardly anything. Have you read this?" And he goes, "No, I told you I'm not reading that." So he was sending him like uh, food and sleeping bags and different things for this guy, this friend of his. And so he said, "Look, I'm embarrassed. Can you just read this?" So Kevin Costner said he finally read this script that he wrote, and it was Dances with Wolves. And he said he couldn't believe it. He said that he said, I'm going to make this into a movie. Rest is history. I mean, he ends up winning an Oscar for director, best picture. Michael Blake wins for best writer.
And the movie made a ton of money.
A ton of money, and it changed all these people's lives. So here, this guy goes from working in a Chinese restaurant to winning an Oscar. What would have pissed me off is that I'm friends with Kevin Costner and I'm working in a Chinese restaurant. Yeah. But he was kind of a jerk.
Yeah, you're a jerk.
Yeah. I mean,
don't burn bridges.
You don't burn bridges, and some people, he was. I think he was taking Kevin Costner for granted.
Oh yeah. He had to have been.
Yeah, he had to have been. I mean, because here, these.
You stay too long when someone's wife's got to step in.
Yeah, yeah. That's no.
Maybe he was like taking a dump and not flushing it or something like that. He's gotta go.
He's leaving the lid up.
Yeah, he's leaving the lid up. You gotta get. And remember
he's
the guy that
good aimer.
Remember the one character, the guy that played on Murphy Brown, who played the guy in the wagon. He played a
really disgusting.
Yeah, Robert Pastorelli, who he passed away too back. But he was really good in that as that little side character.
He was always good in everything.
Yeah, he was. And he did a really good job in that. And then Wes Studi was in it. He played the Shoshone, mean Shoshone. Yeah.
He's good in everything.
And he's a great actor too.
Really good.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just it's a very good good show.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys.
A good movie.
I'm glad you guys wanted to do this because of Graham. Because I mean, I haven't watched it in a long time, and that's because I just watched it a lot back in the day.
Yeah.
And then it's probably been over 10 years since I've seen it, and watching it again, I mean, I'm just like, wow, I forgot how good this movie is.
And the weird thing was, I wanted to go back and watch it again. I just didn't have time. But then the more I started just to try to think back to when I did see it, and I just realized just what a big impact it had on how I viewed, a whole genre, of films.
Yeah.
But I will say this: Dances with Wolves, actually, the two remakes are actually very, very interesting movies that made a ton of money. Also,
what remakes of Dances?
What remakes are those?
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about?
All right, I'll give you a title, and then you tell me what it is. All right.
Okay.
Oh, I see where you're going.
Dances with Samurai.
Of course.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise and The Last Samurai. Right.
Right.
Dances with Aliens.
Avatar.
Dude, you're right. I never thought about that.
Complete rip-offs. I mean, you cannot rip off a movie more than what they did with those
Well,
films.
But that just shows you how good the story is because
And
I
that's
like
the
both of
thing.
those movies. So
Both those movies are actually really solid.
you're right. It is
Maybe
dance.
Avatar a little less so.
It's
Mr.
just
Shame, Mr. Smarty
it's
Pants.
Yeah.
just Dances with Wolves. It's set in different
Oh yeah, just in
different.
a completely different
Well,
setting.
it's like the Magnificent Seven with the Seven Samurais.
Oh yeah.
I
Matter of
mean,
fact,
it's
I
the
didn't
same.
appreciate Magnificent Seven until I went until because I remember trying to watch it and I'm just like, I don't know where this is coming from. I don't get it. And then I'm a big Kurosawa fan, so when I started to really dive into a lot of the Kurosawa films, and I watched Seven Samurai, and I'm just like, oh yeah, and that one's been remade a dozen times over.
Oh yeah,
Even on
yeah.
just TV shows, as far as that goes,
Yeah.
just like little snippets.
Well,
They
I
did a
think
version of it in freaking The Mandalorian.
That's right.
right.
One episode.
Well, Hollywood's known for doing that, though. I mean, how many times have they remade "It's a Wonderful Life"? How many times have you seen that kind of that story after you know?
Well, I'll
I
tell you
mean,
what, you've done well when two big time films come out and they basically just rip you off.
Yeah.
Now I love a good samurai flick, don't get me wrong, but I'm just sitting there going, this is Dances with
and then
Samurai.
Yeah.
It's like
then they're
it's
all
literally going through my head. I'm like, okay, so here's the woman who teaches him how
yeah
to speak Japanese.
yeah
Oh, here's the blue gal who's gonna go teach him how to speak Navi.
and then
And it was just
yeah
so on the nose that I'm
and
like,
then
is someone getting sued over it here?
Yes.
then all
You
the
know?
critics are going, "Oh, they're such geniuses."
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah, they're a
It's like
genius. They ripped off Kevin Costner. What are you talking about? Yeah, they're a genius because they got paid for doing it.
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
went,
it's amazing.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just great. It's neat when you see films that inspire other films, and the fact that they can get away with just blatantly ripping somebody off and still being good. I get it's such a good story. You almost can't mess it up.
All right, so let me bring this up to you guys.
Yeah.
Theatrical cut or director's cut?
Yeah.
I myself, I've got a copy of the direct. I don't know if that's
Extended cut or
that's
whatever.
extended cut. I myself am not a fan of the extended cut because to me they put those scenes back in that they just weren't necessary. They weren't the film that I originally saw. And yeah, some things are explained, but you can see why they cut them out.
Yeah.
For me, on this version anyway. There's some movies that when they put things back in, you're thinking, dang, why did they take that out? But for me, it didn't work on this. The things that they took out, I'm like, yeah, I understand why they took them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too because it went from a long movie because it is a long movie to an even longer movie
Yeah.
that yeah, it seemed like it would go off in directions that it didn't need to. So yeah, I agree with Scott. Where I do love a good director's cut, and I really appreciate a lot of director's cuts or extended versions of things. Um, this one, I think they really did hit that sweet spot with the editing.
Yeah.
Sometimes some things you can edit too much, sometimes you can edit just right. This one to me fell more on that just right part. How did you feel about that though, Dave?
I kind of appreciated some of the stuff in the extended version, because it did help me understand a little bit more. But I can see your guys' point of view. Well, I
Well,
think maybe the reason why it's an extended cut is I think they just asked him for some of his throwaways, and they could sell the tape more or whatever.
Well, it was kind of a fad going back
Back then,
and
yeah.
adding extra footage that wasn't there before.
Yeah,
Now
that
you're getting
was
the extended or
yeah, that was
well, see,
it was a bit of a
I
fad.
feel the same way about Aliens and some of the Star Wars stuff. Some of the things that they added back in, I just didn't care for. It wasn't the movie that I loved and I saw.
Yeah, that's a little different because that was kind of added after the fact, like for some of the Star Wars stuff.
Oh,
But I will say this for Dances with Wolves because it went more into his relationship with the first commander at the fort.
yeah.
right,
which
right.
which to me it was interesting and it builds more of that antagonistic kind of feeling, but at the same time it kind of delayed getting into really the heart of the story.
Right.
So where it's like I appreciated some of the stuff, but it was just like to me it just delayed the it's like a little too long to get to the real story.
Well, and you
to
really
his
didn't
journey.
need to know anything about that commander except you knew he was nuts and he killed himself, and that's one of the reasons they don't know about Kevin Costner because he
Right.
had a crazy commander that killed himself, who sent Costner out into to this fort,
Middle of nowhere.
the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere, and then he kills himself, and so nobody knows about Kevin Costner, and that's kind of self-explanatory. You don't need any more explanation
Yeah.
of the guy's crazy,
Right.
you know. But that guy's a good actor.
Oh
He
yeah,
does have some kind of
He did
cool.
some interesting scenes.
Yeah, he had some interesting scenes, there because he's so goddamn nuts, but I mean, you can see why they cut some of that out.
Oh yeah.
And like we were just watching a minute ago because had it on TV before he came in. Um, there was a scene with Kicking Bird, Stands with the Feds, and Kevin Costner, and they show and they're throwing rocks at night. They're like had been talking and they're just hanging out and throwing rocks into like a river or something. And you're like, yeah, we didn't need that. There's. I mean, it was like a 2-minute scene of them picking up rocks and throwing them, like talking and
might have
stuff.
been misconstrued as being a very um, what's it, a vain project.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because it gave him more screen time.
And I
But
tell you what, there are some scenes with Stands with the Fist where she's hawking Kevin Costner, looking him up and down like, Tatani Tatanka Owashi.
oh my goodness!
I mean, I was like, damn.
After our first night, name became Magnum.
Tatanka.
Yeah, I did a joke about that movie.
Just
They had a Mr. GHS contest. It's kind of different groups of the high school sponsored somebody. So I came out and I did stand up for a little bit, and then I sang a song afterwards. But one of the jokes was is that in the movie they named Kevin Costner's character Dances with Wolves because they saw him dancing with a wolf. He said the movie would have kind of been a little bit different if they saw him after lunch and you know his name would probably be like wiping with leaves or something like that. Yeah.
Jeez.
Everybody laughed at it. The movie was
You
big
stole
at
that
that.
from somebody, didn't you? Did you steal that from somebody? Some comedian?
No,
Oh, I thought I heard a comedian saying something kind of like that.
I was gonna sue.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, don't let him steal your stuff,
Yeah,
Dave.
Yeah,
Dave,
if
you
you
need to
guys
get
find
that.
that clip and that person, send
I
us the link.
swear I heard something like that
You can sue
before.
them like they should have sued. Kevin Costner should have sued all the remakes of his movie.
Yeah.
Michael Blake too.
Yeah,
But I think they filmed a lot of this up by Deadwood.
Oh, they did.
Deadwood, so because Costner, because me and my dad, we took a trip up there, and Costner had a casino up there that he owned.
Wow.
Kevin Costner seen, and we
That's
walked
awesome.
through it and stuff, but he wasn't there.
Did they have a nice? Did they have? Did they have a nice game of Pharaoh?
Oh, jeez. They had the Tatanka slots.
Buffalo.
Yeah, like Buffalo.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you guys can think of about?
No, it's
Uh,
just one of the.
no, it's just a great film.
It
Yeah,
is.
if for some reason you haven't seen this movie
Yeah.
yet, I mean, you need to. This would be on my bucket list.
There's
for
a
sure.
there's a company called Shout Factory, and they released a remastered Blu-ray of it. I think it's just the theatrical cut, though. I might be wrong on that, but yeah, it hasn't reached the 4K status. I think, um, but yeah, definitely go check it out. Find it if it's streaming for free somewhere. Find it and watch it. Um,
Yeah, it's definitely one of those films if you turn on the TV and it's on, you don't turn away.
yeah,
Right.
it doesn't matter what version's on. I mean, if the extended version's on, watch it. You know,
And
both versions are good.
so, do you still have this theory that if Dances with Wolves is on TV and Goodfellas is on TV?
Oh, you're choosing Goodfellas
Oh no,
nine times out of 10.
it's Dances with
Oh
Wolves,
no,
buddy.
no, no, no.
It's
It's too
Dances with
depressing.
Wolves.
It's
How's it
too
what's
depressing.
depressing? What about
That last scene,
you don't think Henry Hill's story was
that
depressing?
was
All coked,
great. You know,
all
he's like,
coked up,
hey, I
and
feel like a schmuck. The spaghetti is like
you're telling
noodles
me
with ketchup.
that that Goodfellas deserves the Oscars over
Oh, big
Dances with
time.
Wolves.
Yeah, but we'll save this for a different podcast. But yeah, definitely.
Here's a little trivia thing. Annie Costner played Christine, who stands with a fist as a child, the one that's going run it.
Oh no,
That's
shit,
Kevin
that's his
Costner's
daughter.
daughter.
Oh wow. Huh.
Yeah,
Well, nepotism.
I saw
yeah,
another Costner guy in there. Might have been his dad or something.
yeah. An uncredited
Yeah,
scene. Yeah, I think so. Bill Costner
yeah.
is an uncredited Union soldier.
Mm.
There you go.
He was in love with the game, Tin Cup.
Oh, he's
All
put
of
in a lot of
Kevin
movies.
Costner's movies.
Oh, cool.
Nepotism.
Yes.
He said the
All right. Well, hey, there we go.
There we go.
How's
All
it-
right, I think that's going to do it for Dances with Wolves. So, the Tony Tatanka Owashi, you know,
Yeah,
I love that.
Okay,
You know what that
I
is?
can tell you love
Do you
that.
know what that is?
I don't know.
That's it.
The
That's
thing at
Dances
the
with the
end.
Wolves. That's Dances with.
Oh,
Why are you leaving
Sue.
me?
Remember
Dances
when
with
did they
Wolves?
hair at the end? He's
I don't
yelling.
want to talk about that part because I'm gonna start crying. Stop it. Oh my god.
Remember he's screaming that
Yeah,
at
I
the
don't
end?
remember. Let's go.
Hey,
Let's get over that.
don't tell
I'm
me.
more of an Iron
Don't
Spartacus
tell
kind
me.
of guy.
Don't tell me you weren't crying at the end of that, Dave. You
Man, I was crying when Paulie didn't get his meatballs. So
well, that there you go. So,
we go from rags to riches. Best picture, baby.
I love the dances. Cool.
I know you
think
do. I
it's
know you do.
you know so
You also
so
like the Twilight movies, so.
no Team Jacob.
No, God. Bye, you guys. We love
I
you.
like the wolves.
R.I.P.
All
Graham
right, I think
Greene.
that's gonna do it for me.
Graham
Scott.
Greene. I'm David.
Oh, if
Yeah,
you
okay.
have any comments,
Yes.
questions, anything, you can email us at spitballcinema@gmail.com.
Yeah, like and
We
subscribe.
Like and
Yeah.
subscribe. We'd
Forward.
love to hear from anybody that has any comments about
Yeah,
this.
or suggestions.
Suggestions, anything.
Yeah.
Some
And
of the suggestions are really mean. I
yeah.
appreciate that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Demeter,
We love
we
we
love
like it when people
we
yell
love,
at us.
we love the mean comments.
Yeah.
All right.
We
All
love
right.
you guys.
Yeah.
All
Bye.
right.
Till next
Bye.
time.
Bye.
Sugar